Hi, welcome to Osun in Progress. I am Ademola Amo and I am in Osun State, the state of the virtuous, popularly known as Ipinle Omoluabi, and this is Osun in Progress. This is the program where we showcase to you achievements, policies, giant strides of Governor Wega Oyetola, our very own Omoluabi governor, on a weekly basis. Our focus for today promises to be interesting and engaging. But before we delve into that, I would like to inform you that in Osun State, every sector is doing very, very well. Talk about the health sector. Over 300 primary health centers have been fully revitalized and rehabilitated in the state. One primary health center per ward across the state. This is first of its kind by any state government in Nigeria. And let's talk about education in Osun State. Proper arrangement has been put in place for full resumption of schools, and all schools have been adequately fumigated to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in schools, and preventive materials have been distributed freely to all public schools in readiness for full resumption. All teachers have been well trained in line with federal government's guidelines for schools reopening in Nigeria. Let's talk about road infrastructure in Osun State. More roads are being constructed and rehabilitated by the present administration to provide for easy flow of vehicular activities in the state. In the area of empowerment, Osun is progressing as more people are getting financial boosts to assist small-scale industries. Well, this is just to mention but a few across sectors in Osun State. And so our focus for today will be on Governor Wega Oyetola's efforts and achievement as it concerns the welfare of women and children in Osun State. We will be having a special guest join us to take us through, but that will be only after this break. Please don't go away.
Oyetola ń ṣiṣẹ́ kò sí dáwọ́ dúró. Bẹ́ẹ̀bẹ́ ò dúró, bẹ́ẹ̀bẹ́ ń lọ. Ìtẹ̀síwájú Ọ̀ṣun ló jẹ wá lógún. Bẹ́ẹ̀bẹ́ ò dúró, bẹ́ẹ̀bẹ́ ń lọ. Òkè 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 lẹ́yẹ ń fọ̀hún. Òkè 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 l'Oyetola mú wa lọ. Nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Òkè. Òkè 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 lẹ́yẹ ń fọ̀hún. Òkè 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 l'Oyetola mú wa lọ.
You're welcome back, and this is still Osun in Progress. And like I did tell you before we went on that break, that our focus on today's episode of Osun in Progress will be on the achievement and efforts made by Governor Wega Oyetola intending to the affairs and welfare of women and children in Osun State. Our special guest is very much seated in the studio with us, and she is a Commissioner for Women, Children and Social Affairs in Osun State. Another person than Barrister Reinat Olubukola Olabo. It's a great pleasure having you around.
My pleasure too.
Now let's take off on this note. For clarification purpose, what exactly is your office all about, and what is the mandate given to you by Governor Wega Oyetola?
Okay, talking about the mandates are quite a number, but I want to say that basically it is to uphold and protect the interest of women and children, to ensure that there is gender mainstreaming in the affairs of the state, to ensure that the interests of children are well protected, that children are treated in accordance with the child rights law of the state.
Okay.
So that's it basically.
All right. Now let's equally look at how it's been. We understand that the year 2020 has been a significant one, faced with pandemic, and women are homemakers. Possibly they must have been hit the hardest. Mm-hmm. So what has your ministry done to cushion this effect on them?
Thank you very much. I must say that women were most hit by the effect of the pandemic. And the state government tried as much as possible to ensure that the suffering was ameliorated. At a point in time, the state government ensured that COVID palliatives, food reliefs were given to our women across the state, irrespective of social status. We were able to reach women even at the nook and crannies, at the remotest parts of the state. Our children who are in the orphanage, you would know that as at that time we had restrictions of movement, and so most of these orphanages who naturally rely on donations were short of materials to cater for the children. Government was so responsive. We ensured that food reliefs were given to orphanages, other needs, psychosocial support, medical assistance as much as possible.
Now, like you earlier said, one of your mandates is to ensure that the rights of women, children are adequately protected.
Exactly.
Now, this brings us to gender-based violence. And when we talk gender-based violence, what readily comes to mind is rape. Now, are there other forms in which gender-based violence come to play?
Thank you very much. It is just funny that when gender-based violence is mentioned, people readily believe that it is only rape. I want to say that even female genital mutilation is a form of gender-based violence. Wife battery, assaulting your wife, assaulting women on the streets is also another form of gender-based violence. Even imprinting tribal marks, on your children.
Oh, really?
Yeah, is a form of violence, especially any violence that has to do with the sexuality of the person involved. And you would know that when you say gender, people readily believe that we are talking about only women or females. Gender can be a boy, can be a man,
and I was actually going to say that,
can be a girl, can be a woman. So any assault or violence that is being meted out to a person on the basis of the sexuality of that person is what is termed gender-based violence. His Excellency launched the Gender-Based Violence Management Committee, which is being chaired by the wife of Mr. Governor. We are looking at how to ensure that in Osun, we do not have a recurrence, however little, of gender-based violence cases.
Okay, so let's go through happenings now. Let's get practical. The incidents that did happen and how you've been able to manage them.
With the outbreak of COVID-19, we had an upsurge in gender-based violence cases, and women were worst hit. And we thank God that the administration of His Excellency was able to curtail as much as possible. Relatively going through statistics of other states, our incidences in Osun is quite low, but it would have been more pleasurable if we didn't record any incidents of gender-based violence. However, such cases that were recorded, government was very, very responsive. One, we ensured that victims were given medical assistance as much as possible, medical aid, psychosocial support. We need, because a lot of them will go through stigmatization, will go through emotional trauma. We need to tell them, to motivate them that it's just a phase and that it will lapse away. So we had clinical psychologists on ground, guidance counselors, medical practitioners, even lawyers on board to attend to the needs of victims. We also ensured that we worked very closely with the Ministry of Justice to ensure that perpetrators are brought to justice, to book. From our indigents who were in Lebanon, that they were stranded, they were facing inhuman situations, and that there was a need for the state government to come to their rescue. Mr. Governor responded that very night that he heard about it.
That night
he heard about it, shunning all bureaucracies and bottlenecks, just saying what would they need to get them repatriated. And so funds for their flights, for other logistics to get them back into the state, for their accommodation, for feeding, for clothing, even cash tokens, We got them a program where resource persons came to motivate them, to let them see reason why they should look inwards and leverage on their innate abilities, on their qualifications, and the platform the state government is offering, as against some of them who would also feel that, okay, if they can't stay in Lebanon, they'll probably come back and look into going to other countries abroad. We are saying that stay here, you can do well here too. And so those ladies were full of appreciation to the governor.
And so far, they've been doing tremendously
They've been they've been doing greatly, because when they came in, we were saying that we saw them in alive, hearty, hale, but Mr. Governor insisted that they should be medically profiled.
Oh, really?
They went through medical checkups, and they came back. Some of them that had ailments were treated. They are doing greatly. They are happy. They are much more relaxed now. They are fine. They have their clothing. They have everything they need now. Some of them are back to their bases. Some are still with us.
My good people of Osun, my name is Isiaq Adeboyetola. Today, Osun has become a reference point globally. I shall not fail to mention the resilience and sacrifice of an courageous civil servant, pensioners and artisans who stood solidly by us, my people. I'm confident that Osun will be the best place to be if we collectively join hands together to move our state forward.
You're welcome back. It's still Osun in progress. Well, if you're just joining us, our guest has been and still is the Commissioner for Women, Children and Social Affairs in Osun State, in person of Barrister Reinat Olubukola Olabopo. Let us in on other achievements of your ministry under Governor Boyega Oyetola.
Thanks so much. Even across the country, we have been able to give the state a pride of place in the Committee of Ministries of Women Affairs across the country.
Wow, that's a part of it.
At the just concluded National Council meeting of Ministries of Women Affairs across the country, Osun was applauded, and some of our programs were asked to be replicated by other states, that other states should emulate us and replicate some of our programs.
That's interesting.
Some of those programs is the launching of our martial arts skills for women.
Did you say martial arts
skills for women?
Okay.
We saw a need for us to empower women so that at least they can self-defend themselves, when they are faced with assault, gender-based issues and all that. So we feel that before they are able to get help, they should be able to defend themselves,
first.
And so first. Also is a program on women development centers. We are resuscitating women development centers across the state.
Okay.
A women development center is basically to empower our women in vocations, our women at the grassroots in vocations. And we are doing it in such a way that a local government would have a women development center, so that women who are in that immediate environment go to that center, they get trained, they pass out, they are graduated, they have access to funds, and they are able to start up a business, Our visits to Buster College, we have children who run in conflict with the law. We believe as a state that some of them acted on youthful exuberance. We believe that some of them acted because they do not have mentorship, parental care. They urge to, seek basic needs for themselves. And so we are saying that despite the fact that they ran in conflict with the law, we would not condemn them. That should not define them. That should not truncate their future and their destiny. And so His Excellency asked us to check on those children. Altogether, we have about 24 children from Osun.
24?
At the Buster home. the Nigerian Correctional Service, the juvenile arm of the Nigerian Correctional Service. And so we were at Abeokuta to check on our children, to give them a sense of belonging, to motivate them, and to let them know that the state looks forward to them turning out to become responsible citizens. They can still add value. And I must say that we got commended, the state got commended on that act. The controller of that correctional center said it was the first time any state in the country would be coming to check on their wards.
Wow.
And so we are glad that so far the Ministry of Women Affairs Osun has given Osun a pride of place in the Committee of States in the country. In addition to what I just said, it's a pleasure to let our viewers know that these children are not just condemned into that center. They are going through academic courses. They are studying. And we are saying that...
Did you say academic courses?
Yes, academic courses. Some
Wow.
of them are who were not even in school, who had never been
To
in the
school.
four walls of the school, are now going through tutorship. Even some of them that dropped out. And we are looking forward to seeing them, coming out in flying colors in their WAEC examination. As soon as they are able to pass their examinations, their UTME, the states will be giving them full sponsorship to the university. We can't just afford to let go of those children. They have their future. This is the promise of Mr. Governor, His Excellency the Governor of the State, Alhaji Goyega Oyetola, to ensure that these children turn out to be responsible citizens. So in the aspect of giving lives back to children, Mr. Governor has A+, in that. We have a number of orphans too. Orphans, we have a shelter for our orphans in the state. Their expenses, their living is basically on the state. What of abandoned children? Children who would just be dumped at dump sites, refuse sites, stream side, on the road and all that. We even had one recently the baby was about 7 months. Governor took medical intervention, of the baby. There was a need for the baby to be in the incubator for about a number of weeks. The feeding, the resources, it's better imagined than experienced,
True.
So Mr. Governor has been working immensely to ensure that abandoned children are given back a life, an opportunity to live. We work on adoptions too, to ensure that we bring joy to families who are looking forward to having a bundle of joy. We give out children to them as long as we see that they would be able to cater for those children. So while we are giving lives to abandoned babies, we are making families happy by giving them babies. In the aspect of giving social welfare to our women, Mr. Governor launched the Osun Women Clinic. Okay. The Osun Women Clinic is to give psychosocial support to our women. We believe that a number of women are going through depression. You see them wearing good clothes, putting on powder, but they have bottled frustrations. They have bottled issues. The state saw a need for us to give them a shoulder to lean on, for them to be able to talk to us, speak out. Just let us know what you are going through, and we will use the machinery of the state to resolve your issues. And this is just one of a few things Mr. Governor has been doing to touch the lives of our women. We have a number of women who are widows. As at the last statistics we have about upwards of 50,000 widows in the state. And by the time we came on board, we saw that they were factionalized. And there was a need for us to bring them together, for them to have a common face and a common voice, so that they can indeed enjoy the efforts and the dividends of democracy has been meted out by Mr. Governor.
Okay. What do you mean by they being factionalized?
Faction, like the normal faction, like some believe that they belong to a certain widows group, another to a certain widows group, and they don't come together to do things. And when this one says, I want something, the other says, no, that's not what we want. And so we feel that it's been a limiting factor for them to enjoy the dividends of democracy. Nobody wants to identify with a factional leader. So there was a need for us to bring them together. We brought them together, and I'm happy to announce that we now have one united front for our widows. And Mr. Governor has been ensuring that things get to them, dividends get to them in terms of credit facilities for them to start up businesses, in terms of food reliefs, palliatives, in terms of psychosocial support, giving them a sense of belonging, motivating them, telling them they can do it, placing their children, empowering their children, giving them jobs so that at least they would be able to take care of their mothers, of themselves and their mothers. As part of Mr. Governor's efforts to ensure that our women have a platform to speak out, I want to say that we have a toll-free line where women who are in fear of danger, who are in fear of violence, even children who are in fear of abuse, can talk at no cost to them. 24 hours, about 8 languages: Yoruba, Igbo, English, Hausa, food, Tiv. Just mention.
Basically, language is no barrier.
Language is no barrier. So we have our toll-free line 293. Our women can, have access to us. I also want on this note to appreciate His Excellency, because first of its kind in the history of the state, we have been commemorating all international days. International Day for Women, International Day of the Boy Child, of the Girl Child, name all days that have to do with women and children. Widows Day. Just recently we commemorated Widows Day. Our widows were happy.
Wow. Well, you can agree that the responsibility which the Ministry of Women, Children and Social Affairs is saddled with is quite enormous. Well, you've heard for yourself the enormous achievement of Governor Gboyega Oyetola as it concerns women and children in Osun State, from empowerment of our women to recognizing and uniting of our widows, to the safe return and reinstatement of women returnee from Lebanon, and forgetting the adoption of street children. With this and so much more, we can say that indeed Oyetola is working and Osun is progressing. Well, we've been speaking with the Commissioner for Women, Children and Social Affairs and President Barrister Reinat Olubukola Olabonpo. Thank you so much. And this is the convenient point to drop curtains on today's incisive episode of Osun in Progress. On behalf of my coordinator, Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Funke Egbemode, my producer, Muiwa Adejumo, I am Ademola Mo, saying thank you for watching. See you next week.